The data center basically is a central repository or central house that basically is the, like for example, in the body function like heart. So that's the place that pump all the traffic, all the data, and everything that we are doing around digitalization in a country. So for example, now you watch YouTubes, so those videos are stored in data center. For example, you watch some contents, those contents are stored in data center. You do banking transactions, your data is stored in a data center. So basically it's the central repository, which is the most essential component basically for digital transformation around the world. As a telecom company, we always have data centers. But what happened is in 2015, when earthquake came, data center was based off normal buildings. And that building, just like many other buildings, got damaged. So God forbid, nothing has happened at that time, thankfully. But if that would have happened, you could have imagined the situation of not having any mobile services for months to come. So the purpose when we took this, although it's a very expensive route to build data center of this class, but understanding the geographical challenges, understanding the needs, and a need to have a reliable, IDC, which is Internet Data Center, we decided to embark on this journey, and then we invested into it. We have invested a little bit over 2 billion NPR, around $19 to $20 million into this data center itself. But that excludes the storages and computers and servers and storage that we are putting as a part of the program. The infrastructure itself is called close to 2 billion NPR. So 2015 and we started conceptualizing it. Then obviously we have challenges around where could possibly this data center be built. Looking at all the aspects, finally in 2017 we finalized the plan after looking at, and not to mention about those challenges and limitations that we have. We started building this data center in 2018, completed in 2019, and then 19 onwards it's up and running. 19 end basically right before the pandemic, and then onwards it's being used by Ncell. So I think one guarantee that we are giving to our customer is that now as I said, defining data center earlier, everything is housed and secure in a very secure data center, which is world-class in its nature. So interestingly, when the decision was made after doing the assessment that we need to build a data center which is resilient to earthquakes. So first concept was that we make out of brick and mortar. So our data center is not using any bricks or any concrete to build the structure. Only concrete is used in the foundation, and beyond that it's all prefabricated structure. So the main vendor is Huawei from China, which is the PMO as well as the conceptualization vendor. But the equipment is ranging from India, China, Germany, a combination of these three countries that we source the equipment from. And 2018, as we said, that we started building it, and there was a lot of precision required because the Nepal is a landlocked country. The size of containers were very big, and we need to do a mock drill on all the roads all the way from Indian border to our data center, and all these exercises. So I'm really thankful to the enforcement agencies, traffic police, and a lot of people who actually helped us in doing this data center without a single injury or without a single accident. There are different certification bodies around the world. And one very notorious or very famous, I would say, around the world is called Uptime Institute. And they are the company who is independently assessing the data centers, that how reliable those data centers are, and this will determine, and it's a testament of that, up to what degree of resilience or up to what degree of redundancy that you could have in the data center. So Uptime has certified. They have the highest grade called Tier 4, which is like building a data center for NASA or rocket science companies. Beyond that, most of the world people usually do Uptime Standard 2, Tier 2 or Tier 3. We actually have built this in between 3 and 4. And one of the limitation of not reaching to 4 was that it's more of a country's limitation that we can't have grid supply coming in from 2 different sources. So if we could manage that, 2 different grids into a city, plus some level of more protection, we could actually reach to tier 4 level as well. So it's a tier 3 plus at this point of time. General life span is 25 years, but since it's modular in nature, it can be enhanced on the go. So our data center is like Lego blocks. So this is the very first concept, in fact, we have used here in this country. And in fact, when it was built, it was first of its kind in South Asia as well. So the only thing that limits us is the maximum power that we can draw from the grid. At this point of time now, we are drawing 5 megawatt, which is the maximum limit that we could get out of it. 25 years life is when we are not doing anything. So as a part of our program, it's a continuous improvement going on. So for us, it's good for ever. And what we need to do is that it requires some major maintenances over a period of every 5 years. So first 5 years will be due sometime next year. So we'll be doing it. So it's more about every time that you do. So it's a life that has been designed. But not only that 25 years of prefabricated structure is there, we have done some alternate measures around that as well. So I think it will last good. But as a part of any building, we do have plans that whenever this asset is need to be retired, before that obviously, because by that time in next 15-20 years, there will be more requirements of data, more advancement would have happened. So definitely in the pace of Ncell's development, we will be embarking journeys of building these data centers as per the country needs and requirements. Data center itself is designed on 5 megawatts power. So out of this, this is at this juncture, it's a 250 racks data center. So data center, consume electricity in two main areas. One is obviously for compute resources that is required for processing of data center. So that itself is a little bit over 2 megawatt. Plus another 1.5 megawatt consumption is being done for cooling and all other requirements as well. So we are actually keeping it two aspects of it. Not only we wanted to compromise on the tier 3 recommendations and specifications, but at the same time we are also environmental friendly, so we are not really spending more than what it is required. So one factor in data center also is called PUE, and this determines that how efficient you are using your power efficiency. So our data center efficiency is in the range of 1.5 and 1.6, which is one of the best that you could achieve out of any IDC or internet data centers around the world. Tier 3 plus defines certain specifications since we are complying to it. So not only the power is being backed up by a generator, but since generator takes switching of 5 to 6 seconds, in between we have uninterrupted UPS and rectifiers for DC and AC load. So fundamentally, generator will kick in within 10 seconds. But before that, the UPS will take over. That itself has a 30 minutes backup. And even when UPS shift over to generator, we have even redundancy on generator level as well. And all the generators that we have planned are on continuous rating basis. So God forbid if we get into a situation of no electricity for days to come, we can operate it out of fuel. Generally, the only limitation for us is the fuel storage that we are having it. Right now, we are storing fuel which is equivalent to good 7-8 days kind of running. And within 8 days, obviously, God forbid, even if it goes that bad, you just need to arrange diesel fuel just to fuel the generator. So technically speaking, there is no limit provided you can keep on supplying. And since we have redundant generators as well on the go, if something needs to be fixed, that can also be done. So every level has a redundancy. Power systems have redundancy and everything. We have a capacity of 50,000 liters of fuel. And generally, with the normal situation, since electricity situation is much better in Kathmandu, we are not storing a lot of electricity. But generally, always as a standard requirement, we keep 48 to 72 hours of fuel backup with us. Tier 3 also specifies certain design that involves a lot of redundancy and safety. All those things are considered. So for example, fuel storage has a logical and physical boundary from where exactly the fuel needs to be pumped into the generator, as well as those tanks are built underground, fireproof. Data center itself has endurance rating of 60 minutes of fire protection. So even if there's a fire, nothing will happen in 60 minutes. And obviously in 60 minutes, you can get those measures and firefighting equipment to address those. It is 24/7 manned, and inside we are actually following VESDA, which is very early detection of any smoke. So we are using a human-friendly gas called NOVEC 1230, and inside data center the threshold time is 5 seconds. So even if it is a small spark happen, without any human intervention, the fire protection will kick in automatically. But just to guarantee and just to avoid any unforeseen situation, it is 24/7 manned, not only from a security perspective, physical security as well as logical security, but also on every 6 hours basis, we have teams that are taking statistics out of the data center, and there are intelligence systems that on the go, sensing the temperature and everything and requirement, plays and change the loads around. So this is where we are guaranteeing a very high power efficiency. So it's not like today you set a temperature and you're gone. Tomorrow only you realize that yesterday night it was more cold and you don't need air conditions. So in this case, it is all sensed, fed into an AI engine, and on spot there is a deficiency. So one thing I can also tell you very interestingly, you have seen those small containers, or we call it containment or pods. Inside that also we have air conditioner units with fans which are on AI logic. So if tomorrow the server load increase, for example, when you on your own computer you start playing games, your computer start getting heating up. So same is the case when day, night, Dasai, Tehar, all those time there is more accesses to internet and people are using more processing data out of the cloud. So when this will happen, automatically sensing that there are more processing happening, automatically air conditions will start blowing more cold air, and when it is not in the need, it will automatically shut down. So this is how the energy is really consumed so that it should use for the right purpose. Since this IDC was built not only to serve Ncell's own needs, but to also support the digital growth across Nepal. So this is available for anyone who wanted to actually enjoy an uninterrupted processing and compute and storage resources, they can come to this. So the way we build our data center is, it's a very new concept. So we are running on independent pods. So instead of cooling the entire data center, we are just only cooling the racks. So this reduces a lot of cooling requirements in the country. Second thing is, that's the purpose of, sometimes people ask us a question, why Kathmandu? Because Kathmandu is more prone to earthquakes. But then we say that we built this data center just to withstand earthquakes in Indian standard zone 5 and in Europe standard zone 4, which is equivalent to Richter scale 9. So we have built it, it can go to that level, and I mean in the human history, Richter scale 9 has never happened, at least in any part of the world. So this is fairly secure. So one of the reasons of putting in Kathmandu was that infrastructure was better compared to other cities, and at the same time Kathmandu doesn't require a lot of cooling requirements. In the summer also it stays, so we are also very cautious about what we emit into the environment versus what we get out of it. So this is one of the things. Now when you talk about separation, yes, the entire data center is built, as I said, Lego blocks on modular basis. So tomorrow if we were to increase the capacity, we can increase batteries capacity in a modular form, we can increase electricity capacity in a modular form, we can increase generator capacity in a modular form, and same is the data center. So how the data center is entirely designed is that ground floor is basically used for backup systems, which is battery, rectifiers, transformers, generators in different housing building, and the IDC hall, which is where the servers and storages are stored, are actually on the different level. It is just to keep the information source as well as power source separated from each other, so that there would not be even a faint chance of any interference in between these two equipment. And that's the standard specified by Tier 3 Uptime Institute. For environmental monitoring, we need only 2 people per shift. So altogether 8 people are required to be in the data center. And other than this, obviously we have security people and all those, because of protection of that are there separately. But the people need to operate data center are only 8, and that is also because we wanted to ensure quality. Otherwise we don't need anybody inside unless and until you have to do some work there. So first of all, we are following the international protocol which everyone else is following. So the information area where we are hosting our services, or anybody else, because we are also hosting some enterprise clients as well, is not allowed to be accessed by other than a specific team. So those teams can only access. And in case if a host or a bank who is hosting here requires access to it, there is a whole protocol that needs to be followed. So it's not everyone can get in, and this is actually protected not only on the data center. So first level of protection is at the security gate. The second level of logical protection is when you are entering the data center hall. And even when you get inside, to get into the server containment and pod, also it requires separate login access, which is controlled centrally, and we are monitoring it on a daily basis that who should be given access or who not. We certainly have the capacity to serve any other interested company that is willing to come. And one of the things that we are now starting, which we have just recently started, is that based out of this data center, we have started offering our own cloud service. So knowing that regulation-wise, Nepal wanted to retain their data inside the country, and also Nepal being landlocked, anything that you have to put onto the cloud of Amazon and Google, you need to spend a lot of internet bandwidth because this country is landlocked. So we have also started a cloud service out of the same data center, which is up for available. So it's like just as good as Google or Amazon or Microsoft Cloud, and is up for everyone, anybody who has requirements of compute storage or anything to do with data center, they can use that. On top of it, data center also has hosting space. So if somebody wants to bring their own server and they wanted to place inside that data center, even if it is government, it's available because it's highly secure, not only physical security but also logical security, because we have put firewalls and all protection mechanisms that are required to protect the data as well. We are a NIST compliant company, Ncell, and the cyber security norms we are following on the basis of NIST. So minimum baseline security we are maintaining on the NIST framework, which is an American institute that is also ensuring the level of maturity on protecting cyber prevention and privacy data. Nepal need data center basically for various reasons. Number one, if you see the country, it's a very sizable youth population here. Digital transformation is the key. And again, what now if you look at into the growth goals around the world, digital is one of the pillars that is actually taking economies out of poverty. For example, if you see some countries, China, over the last 2 decades, 700 million people came out of poverty because of focusing a lot on digital manufacturing as well as in industry. So I think Nepal has a lot of potential from a perspective of going digital and leapfrog into this information era and benefit out of it. The country like Nepal, where the resources are very scarce and the country is leapfrogging into digital era, what is more important is that we need to work a lot on sharing, and we don't need to replicate investments in doing a lot of things. So for our needs, for our customers, because we are synonyms with reliability, we invest a lot of money in this data center. But this is available. So instead of replicating this investment, I would urge the people who are involved in digital development in Nepal, be it government, be it private sector, and be it those companies who are driving the passion of enhancing digital literacy as well as the lifestyles of Nepalis, to come talk to us. We have a solution for everyone, and we look forward to see you here. Thank you.